Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah. We have finished Ilmac over the last few episodes, and time to continue on. We get something? I knew you could do it, and not only because of your blessing. You have a strength all your own. It has seen us through many a trial. With a warden defeated, I believe our work here is done. It's time we're going. Together, needless to say. To the bitter end, the fate of our two worlds being at stake and all that. Now then, I suggest we hurry back to the Crystarium. Much and more may have happened while we were frolicking with the Faefolk. That Ranjit elected to pursue us makes me hopeful the city was spared Yulmo's attentions. But I would sooner see for myself. Besides, I believe I speak for all of us when I say that I've had a bellyful of Ilmac. Let us away before the Faefolk think to play with us again. Alvin's shocked expression for a moment there. Yeah, let's get out of here. The city appears unchanged from when we last visited. There's a self-same comforting hum of activity in the air. I see nothing out of the ordinary. Though we spend most of our time on the road, my Philly and I actually have apartments here. Perhaps now we may finally make use of them. All seems well, thank goodness.
All seems well at the Crystarium?
Yes. Yulmo was plainly more concerned with finding us. How flattering.
You certainly took your time. I had half resolved to complete the task myself.
And you are...
Were one to study the annals of Garlean history, one would find yonder visage on many a page. Though by rights its youth should long since have faded.
Well, well, we have a historian in our midst. That spares me a lengthy explanation. I am Solus Galvus, founding father of the Garlean Empire, and under various guises, the architect of myriad other imperially inclined nations. As for my true identity, I am ep.23, Ascian.
Gaius spoke of you. A native of the Source.
Equal in rank to La Habrea. And you came all this way just to introduce yourself to us?
Behold the sky, restored to its former glory. Have you ever seen a more affecting spectacle? Oh, it is truly, deeply infuriating. Do you have any idea how much you have delayed the rejoining?
We have? But it's good news.
Following the flood, the first had been listing ever further towards the light, towards stasis. The end was in sight. Enter man and his indomitable spirit. He would haul the world back from the brink. And adding his lumpen weight to the power of growth, he duly tipped the scales, if only by a fraction. Yet a fraction was enough to spoil the perfect imbalance needed to bring about a rejoining. Had mankind continued to live in idleness under Vorthry's rule...
Oops. All the conditions were met.
But you had to come and ruin it all. Thanks to your meddling, light supremacy is in doubt, and our painstakingly laid plans are in tatters!
Well, I should begin by thanking you for confirming Urianger's theories on the inner workings of the Calamity. He will be most pleased. As for what happens next, might I suggest you admit defeat and walk away?
Happy to let me go, are you? Because the murderous glint in your eye suggests otherwise. Indeed, it is enough to make me think better of confronting you alone. Look, it did cross my mind to simply side with Vorthry and kill you all. But that's no different from what La Habre did. And we all know how well that ended for him. And so, while it is liable to be troublesome, I have settled upon a different approach. Cooperation. I will not raise a hand to hinder your hunt for the Lightwardens. If you desire it, I will even lend you my knowledge and strength.
Since time immemorial, you and yours have labored to rejoin the 13 shards, at the cost of countless lives. Do you expect us to believe that your objective has suddenly changed?
Nay, our objective is the same as it ever was. Though I dare say, you do not know our motive. A war waged without knowledge of the enemy is no war. It is mere bloodletting. Just once, might we not seek to find common ground? For good or ill, I am immortal. Provided I have the inclination, I can always begin anew, scheme and conspire to my heart's content. But this time I thought that I might instead try to see eye to eye, to understand what drives the hero of the Source, to determine if our goals are truly incompatible. So come, shed your preconceptions. See beyond the unscrupulous villains you take us for. When all is said and done, we may find ourselves pleasantly surprised. The proud discoverers of a path of cooperation rather than opposition. Think of it.
Thou hast delivered thy proposal, and we would not dismiss it outright. If I may offer thee counsel, however, to make thy case via an illusion reflecteth poorly upon thy sincerity.
My apologies. You will forgive me if I'm not entirely at ease in the presence of a famed Ascian slayer. I felt it only prudent to take precautions. Nonetheless, your counsel is duly noted. I take my leave, friends. Rest assured, we shall meet again soon.
This seems a dangerous gambit if we agree to this. But there might be value in it, and if it's just what we learn more about them. So that was an Ascian. Tancred told me about them. He appears to be gone, but I won't be lowering my guard just yet. Finding common ground with an Ascian, my entire being rebels the very notion that an Ascian of Emet-Selk's standing should willingly reveal themselves unto us, and that this of all junctures is most interesting. Cooperation? He can't be serious, can he? Well, we've certainly been given much to ponder, but first things first, we should report to the Exarch. You can run along, Serenia. We're perfectly capable of handling this little task. In light of our recent exertions, I'd say you've earned a rest. Go on, take yourself off to bed. We'll see you later, refreshed and ready for more. No, but the thing with the Ascian is dangerous if we agree to try to cooperate with them. It comes down to an ultimate question of how evil are they truly? Which is something we cannot know. Not with certainty. Welcome back, miss. You've been expecting you. You will find refreshments laid out in your quarters. We hope they are to your liking. Will you be retiring now? Very good, miss. I bid you a pleasant evening. A sandwich basket. That one there? I hope the past few days have not been overly taxing. Pray take a rest and recover.
From the Exarch, is it? With that mirror of his, he can watch your every move, you know. You'll probably think you're talking to yourself. Still, he's keeping you well fed. Judging by his people's faith in him, he seems to be a decent sort. But so much about him remains shrouded in mystery. Like, what was he doing back in my day? There was no such person when I was around. A lot's happened since the flood, though. Since I was set adrift. I know little more than you do of this city's history in the Exarch's past. Not that it matters. It's Emet-Selk we should be concerned about. When our world was about to be consumed by light, the Ascian in white appeared before us. He said that the only way for us to live on was to bring about the rejoining. Desperate as we were, we heeded his words, not realizing that the flood was of the Ascian's own making. They cannot be trusted. None of them. But Emet-Selk had one thing right. One should not fight blindly. That's what we did. And it cost us everything we held dear.
Tell me about Seto.
What? What about Seto? What is there to say? He's done some growing. When we were traveling together, he was nowhere near as big. And he obviously couldn't speak. I had no idea how much that medallion meant to him. What about you, anyway? You must have a friend like Seto? Chocobo, perhaps? Come on, you tell me something for a change.
Talking about my chocobo. Okay, new morning, let's do. Let's go to work. Realpolitik. Good morning to you, miss. I do hope you are well rested. The Exarch and your companions are presently gathered in the Oculum. He asked that you convene with them at your earliest convenience.
Ah, there you are. You're just in time to welcome our guest.
Silk.
Please. Did I not explicitly tell you that we would be meeting again soon? Lest you forget, I made you a promise. I have no intention of meddling with your mission. I come only to observe.
Your Exarch friend in particular has piqued my curiosity.
Summoning you all like that. Most impressive.
You honestly expect us to believe you've come only to observe? Or that you might deign to lift a finger to aid our cause if called upon? Even if there were a sliver of truth in your words, I would never accept your help. Not in my darkest hour. Not after all the suffering your kind has wrought.
So petty. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. Wage your war against the Sin Eaters, put each and every Lightwarden to the sword, prove yourselves heroes, brave and true, and I will be glad to embrace you as allies. Allies worthy of bearing the burden of truth. Surely such a partnership would be preferable to yet another round of fisticuffs. And thus did the olive branch wither and die. Pity. Well, let no man say I did not try, futile as it was. Though I suspect you will seek me out when you grow tired of making the same mistakes. Difficult decisions lie ahead of you. Decisions best made with the benefit of knowledge to which only the Eternal are privy. For now, I shall resume my shadowy vigil, Whatever you choose to do, make sure it's worth watching, would you?
What was that all about?
A vain attempt to make us doubt our chosen course, most like. As if we'd believe a word that passed his lips. Unless you think there is some truth in what he says.
A kernel, perhaps?
If he simply meant to lead us astray, he could have done so without revealing himself. At least, not in the manner he did. It goes without saying that an alliance with the Ascians is out of the question. But since we have no way of knowing where they might be hiding, it seems only logical to press on with our mission, even if our enemy seems content for it to succeed.
Then let us discuss the Sin Eaters. I would begin by thanking you all for your efforts thus far. In striking down the Lightwardens of Lakeland and Ilmeg, you have accomplished more in your short time here than all of our forces managed in the last century.
That may be, but the Wardens of Calusia, Armarang, and Raktika remain.
Indeed, and their precise whereabouts are as yet unknown. Which is why I propose we divide our forces and conduct a systematic survey of each region. Once we have found our quarry, we may then determine how best to proceed.
I'll take Armarang in that case. I know the lie of the land well enough.
If there are no objections, I will make for Calusia. I have connections there both in and around Yulmore that may prove useful.
Just don't get caught, remember, you're on Warfare's shit list.
Then I would ask that you journey to Raktika. There you will find Y'shtola. With her assistance, I doubt the Warden will evade your grasp for long.
Is Y'shtola the conjurer you and Urianger used to talk about?
That's right. Though we haven't spoken much since she left for the forest.
I fear I may be to blame for that. I had every intention of relaying the news of your arrival, but she is disinclined to speak with me. You have visited her, have you not? Might I trouble you to...
'Twould be no trouble.
My thanks. While you are all out in the field, I shall be here attending to business. I had somewhat fancifully contemplated joining the search myself, but other matters demand my attention.
What's that?
A missive from Lord Vorthry. He invites me to join him in Yulmore to discuss the recent conflict at Lida Luran.
And? Did he even bother to offer any bait? It's obviously a trap.
I should be surprised if it were not. Nevertheless, I must seize this opportunity to speak with him, even if only a few words are exchanged. Though my power will be much diminished so far from the tower, it is a risk I am willing to take. Master Alphino, might I impose upon you to accompany me to Yulmore prior to beginning your reconnaissance?
Of course.
Then let us make ready. Safe travels to you all.
I confess a great deal of my time in Calusia was spent befriending the people, so it's not to say I gave no thought to our primary goal. Once I've escorted the exarch to Yulmore, you can be certain I will do all I can to discern the whereabouts of any warden that may be hiding in Calusia. There's so many ruins scattered throughout Armarang, I'm honestly not even sure where to start. I should be glad to apprise thee of Y'shtola's recent endeavors during our journey to Raktika. Minfilia and I are no strangers to Raktika, but this is perhaps the first time we've bothered entering through the proverbial front door. At last, I can finally meet Ristola. Franco has told me so much about her. Before you leave, I would make a request of you. There's a church, or rather the ruins of a church, at Fort Job. Might I ask that you go there before seeking out Ristola? It was a place where people once gathered to worship the light. Alas, it has long since fallen into disuse. Yet within that hall there remains a tablet whose writings I believe may prove of use to Ristola. At the very least, such a relic would make a suitable gift for your reunion. A most considerate proposal, very well. Ere we depart to Raktika, we shall journey onto Fort Job that we might secure this relic. And where is that? Probably in Lakeland? Huh. No. That's a place with the Aetherite? I do not doubt that this place may weather another assault by the Sin Eaters, but they cannot hope to hold it should the Humoran soldiers return. Even with the limited numbers, the guard can use the terrain to their advantage. Perhaps I can convince the captain to lay a few traps out in the field? Thank God I have come across these ruined churches before. I wish I could have seen them before the flood. The windows were works of art, I'm told. Here amidst these ruins we will find the Church of the First Light, and within that hallowed hall the tablet we seek. Time is of the essence, my friend. Let us be quick. At the height of Lakelord's prosperity, these sites served not as man's final bastion, but as testament to his ingenuity and architectural prowess. The Church of the First Light was responsible for many such marvels, building majestic chapels in every corner of the realm. Alas, the flood with its inexorable tides would drown nigh everyone, and did all but put an end to the religion as a whole. The creatures which then did rise from the fulgent deluge were seen as agents of divine punishment sent to devour sin and sinners both. Thence came the name of Sin Eater. The people were lost, seemingly forsaken by their god. Yet, where there is light, there have ever been shade, and it was in the dark they sought solace. The most devout of these worshippers of shadow did then migrate to Raktika Greatwood. But that is a tale for another time. For now, let us find what remained of the chapel here. Despite their architectural prowess, I can make neither head nor tail of anything in this place. I would think the remnants of a church would be more conspicuous. It would be most unusual, but mayhap the hall was built below ground? Let's look. Aye, this is indeed the church we seek. It's surprisingly intact. What little is left of the churches I've seen until now has always borne the scars of decades of disuse. Its subterranean construction has done much to protect the hall from the ravages of time, yet the reasons for its remarkable preservation may be deduced from its decoration. As faith in the light did wane, so rose reverence of the dark, and its followers did want for places of worship. To be plain, the standards which do adorn these walls belong not to those who built them, but to worshippers of the dark, the Knights Blessed, who subsequently migrated to Raktika, yes? Indeed, it was beneath the shaded burrows of the Raktika Greatwood that they finally found sanctuary. Often, many times, did Yulmor make spurious overtures of friendship unto them, but they are no fools. The exarch knows full well that Y'shtola in her seclusion doth labor to learn all she may of the blessed and their past. 'Tis why he sent us here, I now see. The tablet of which she spoke no doubt proveth a glimpse into the history that she so yearneth to comprehend. Well then, we'd better hurry and find it. I can barely see my hand in front of my face. If only that torch were a little closer. With a tablet, a fragment of holy scripture would be most assuredly be here on this altar. Yet this would, I presume, also have been where the blessed placed the font of seeing used in the practice of her faith. Where then would they have set the tablet? Can anyone tell me what this infernal tablet even looks like? This one? You have located the time on tablet. Over there! Within the altar, thou sayest? How were you able to see it in the dark? It's inside the altar of all places. I certainly hope this is what we were looking for. Naught escapeth thine eye, it would seem. It was indeed the tablet we seek. Curious, these engravings predate the Knights Blessed. If I'm not mistaken, they are written in the script of the ancient empire of Ronka, whose capital once stood in the midst of what's now Raktika. It will be no small matter to decipher them. A fine gift for a seeker of truth. 'Tis plain the exarch understandeth Y'shtola only too well. But come, let us quit this place and make ready for our journey into the woods. But I think we do that next time. Until then, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.